I never had a chance to tell Brett to record this. So we are back on the party line. It's Brown Bag Lunch Day today on the party line. And it's funny because I just ate a bag of mixed nuts on the way into the studio as my lunch.
And now you got a couple of mixed nuts. Is that where you're going with that?
I wasn't going to say a couple. I was only going with one.
One.
Yeah,
No.
I was going with the closest one. I mean,
Me?
Yeah. You had to ask.
Obviously, Kim.
Oh, my goodness. I can't believe you had to ask. Anyway, well, ladies, welcome to the party line. It's so nice to have you here.
Thanks for having us, Ron. Yeah,
Thanks, Ron.
we love coming.
And Kim, you're the hostess. I'm just the engineer for the show. So let's tell everybody exactly what's going to happen. And we were supposed to have someone else, but Lindsay's out. So
Lindsay's out, so I stepped out. I was just going to send Lindsay and Aubrey and take the day off from party line, not from work. And
no, she just didn't want to see me, right?
Exactly.
No,
Yeah.
I was so excited that. Well, no. I'm kidding. No, I'm always happy to be here, but I might have you jump in a little bit because you and I probably know the same amount of information about what we're talking about today.
Well, no, not really.
I only know that it exists just because some of the projects that we do up at the archives are kind of divided. And so that's why I brought Aubrey today, our assistant director, and she's going to talk to us about the Butte History in the Classroom project, which is very cool.
And again, this is a great brown bag that I was looking forward to because the number one most exciting thing Butte has going right now is the archives. From research on ethnicity to family to, consider the melting pot Butte was with 120,000 plus people back in the heyday of mining here, and the number of families and the number of people that came and never left, and or the people that came and didn't leave because they're in one of our cemeteries. Because of the deaths and the things that happened in this community. So the archive stands out, and I serve on a couple of national boards and state boards, and I always get the idea that people from outside of Butte that always want to bring up the Butte archives. So here we are today going to focus inward on our Brown Bag Lunch
on our community
and on the archives,
and how we participate in our community. So with that, I'm going to have Aubrey. Y'all have heard my spiel about who I am.
Everybody knows you, yeah.
Everybody knows me.
And everybody wants you to be the host of the show and me to leave.
At least you get to eat lunch that way.
I eat my lunch. I'm just sitting here picking sunflower seeds out of my mouth.
I've got a piece of oatmeal stuck in my throat too. So
Aubrey, you're carrying the show.
I'm going to let Aubrey tell us your title, how you came to work at the archives, and then we'll jump into
your
our
history.
topic.
Tell us a little bit about your upbringing.
Your history.
Oh, you don't want to know my history. We're not here to talk about my history.
No, it's all about you.
No. This is not the Aubrey show. No, my name's Aubrey Jaap. I'm the assistant director of the Butte Archives. I've been with the archives since 2007. I started as an intern and have worked my way through the organization to assistant director. But today, so that's about me. So today, though, we're really excited to talk about a project we've been working on called Butte History in the Classroom. So kind of briefly what you mentioned, Ron, Butte is a huge melting pot. You have so many families that have been here for so long. I think students have a grasp of that history, but what we really sought to do was really connect Butte kids with their history, and maybe if they don't have family roots here, kind of have them understand their community and what it was once like here, and some of the history that's happened in our community.
It's exciting. I just have to tell you, I spent the last couple hours in a Zoom board meeting. And when I was through with that right away, I thought that we were talking about the E.B. Craney Awards, which are Excellence in Broadcasting. And I want to enter, with your permission, the ethnic groups that we did and bring it down to a 15-minute segment and enter that as a program of the year for radio in the state of Montana.
Oh, that would be lovely.
That was quite the undertaking, and your writing and the work you did on that. And I hope we have more of those coming. But
I hope we can do more. Yeah, we've talked about doing more. That's the plan.
I know we funded more through the Greater Montana Foundation.
Yeah, so we'll be working on more. So yeah, it's some background on that. We did earlier this year when COVID had first hit, we did these radio spots about highlighting different ethnic groups. We did the Finnish, the Jewish, the Germans, and the Mexicans. Thank you. And
I
so
could have told her.
You could have. So we did those 4 ethnic groups. We've at the archives over the years have done exhibits on these different ethnic groups, and those were the 4 that were kind of underrepresented. And so the project worked out really great. We did party lines with spots about those ethnic groups, and it featured members from that community telling pieces of their story. So we're hoping this coming year we can do more of those. We had 17 ethnic groups we had focused on, so to do stories and scripts on all 17 ethnic groups, get those communities involved, it'd be really great. And it's so nice to hear from those families directly. And, it's always one thing when we tell an ethnic group story, but it's really nice to get those community members to share their stories. I think those shared family stories are something you can't capture without that.
And the scripts are based on their stories. I mean,
Correct.
It's not your writing. It's based on what they share during these gatherings, during these oral histories that you record. So that's what makes it exciting.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So we use oral histories we collected with them. We use some of our archival resources, so we kind of mesh the two. We give some historical background from resources we have, and share their firsthand experiences. So yeah, we're looking forward to doing more of those. I think it'll be really wonderful.
Okay, I want to go back to the history in the classroom that you're working on, but I need to take a break first. Because once we get into it, I don't want to stop you. So we're going to do that. It's the KBOW Party Line. We are having the pleasure today of the Brown Bag Lunch and actually doing a look in to the archives today on the Brown Bag Lunch. Stay with us. Hey, we're back. It's the KBOW Party Line, 116 on your Wednesday, January 20th. It's Brown Bag Lunch Day today on the Party Line, and Kim and Aubrey joining us today to talk about the archives and about programs that are going on at the archives that really bring history to life in our community. And I mean, what's amazing about it is you look at the archives and you look at some of the groups that have spun off from, of course, Chris Fisk's History Club was there before, but still the amount that they use archives. Then you go to the Butte memorials and you go back to historical memorials and what they're doing with their Facebook posts that based on research from the archives and bringing the memorial alive of the Kenyon Connell fire. So the archives have served this community through historical preservation, but also served the families and the multitudes from around the world that came here to Butte. I mean, the comment that there are more Irishmen buried in Butte cemeteries than there are in Ireland was always kind of a standing joke, but in some cases, maybe you're right, in some communities.
Might be, yeah. And I mean, just this week alone, I've had 2 requests that I've answered, history requests on Finland, on Finnish ancestors.
That was one of my favorite pieces we did on ethnic groups.
Yeah.
And we had response from people in Norway over that one that listened online.
Yep.
The Finn exhibit was so fun. We learned so much. They have such a amazing culture. They have the traditions like the saunas and they have this yogurt called Vilja, and someone brought it in, and it's really this sour kind of yogurt, rotten stuff. I mean, but it was so lovely that it was her grandmother's starter, kind of like you would a sourdough, and it was so it was just so amazing that she brought it in for all of us to try, and it was such
her grandma's starter, but it was your stopper, right?
No, but we all took some home. It was interesting, but it was fun, yeah.
And the rugs that I had no idea that
knives.
Style of
the
woven
knives.
rugs.
The Raya rugs, yeah.
Yeah, that I'm like, I didn't know that was Finnish, and it speaks a little bit to, how different ethnic groups really influence American culture, because it's the type of rug that a lot of people have sitting on their kitchen floor in front of the sink.
And they might be French, German, or Irish. Because they're in Butte, they have one.
Yeah, or not even in. I mean, I had never associated it. I had just seen these rugs. Never knew Finnish people even came to America until I moved to Butte, but I had seen them all over.
You lived a guarded life.
So, I do.
But
I
in
really
Butte,
do.
in Butte, we learned all those things because you had to.
Yeah. I had never met any Finns before that I knew of, anyway. I don't know. Well, I mean, you can kind of tell by the name, but.
Yeah, but again, going back to that history coming to life.
Yeah.
And Aubrey, as you're looking at going into the classroom, tell us how you're going to take that living history into the classroom through the archives.
Yeah, so kind of how this project started was, So last school year, still 2020, we had planned with the school district to get 5th graders in. They were changing their social studies curriculum, and we wanted to get them into the archives, because if you can get them into the archives young, they know what an archive is. Then in high school and college, they're more likely to use an archive and understand their local history. So knowing that, we really wanted to do a project with the school district. So we had planned a series of field trips with all the 5th graders in the district. They would come to the archives, do some research, and they would also go to the World Museum of Mining, hoping to do kind of a joint thing. So we had all these plans. We worked with Larry Driscoll to come up with these topics and look at what kind of items they would look at, newspapers, photographs, city directories, that sort of thing. And then COVID hit, and we had to cancel all of it. So that was a real bummer, because we had wanted to. It's been a goal of ours for a long time to really connect with classrooms again. And we get lots of field trips, but we really wanted to hit the Butte kids. So we applied for a grant from the National Endowment for Humanities. They had some CARES funding. So we applied to hire an intern, offset some of our costs, everyone trying to help their budget this year. So we applied for that to put this curriculum online and do a virtual tour of the archives, and we got the award. So over this year, we were able to hire an intern. So we were actually able to provide some jobs, which was really great this year. So we scanned newspaper articles, we created questions, photographs, piled all these things together on different topics in Butte, and we've put them online for kids to download. And so it's been really great. We just launched it here a few weeks ago and kind of let people know about it. So we're really excited to hear if Butte kids do this and see if they respond and enjoy it.
Is it going to be then made part of the curriculum in the schools? Is that the long-term plan?
Yeah, so we've reached out to the school district, and they're hoping this second semester that they can implement it, and they're going to guide teachers to look at it. So we were just hoping this first year, like, if you can get it on the teachers' desks and at least, see if they want to implement this in their classroom, or can hand a handout at home saying, hey, go here to our website. And but yeah, so they're going to implement it and try to implement it in their social studies curriculum for the second half of the school year.
That's exciting.
It is exciting.
It is, yeah.
And how did it go for you guys? I mean, how did it go putting together a virtual tour? I mean, that's something you probably had never even thought of doing.
No, we had we had thought about it, but we didn't know how to do it at all. But now there are apps out there that we literally took an iPhone, and there's a free app, and we were able to do it ourselves. It was amazing. And so
She says the apps, and I didn't have lunch, so right away we went to appetizers.
I don't have appetizers. I wish we all had appetizers.
Appetizers?
I know. Chips and crackers, no. Yeah.
But you guys were able to do it all right there just using an iPhone.
Using an iPhone, which was amazing.
Wow. Lindsay walking around.
Yeah. So it was so fun. So we did our reading room tour. So on our website now, you can get a virtual tour of our reading room, and we were able to plot points of interest. So we were able to say this is a city directory. In these, you can find people's names, occupations, and address. We were able to go through all the resources in our reading room and point those out for students. Also look at fun things in our reading room. So we have a radiator wall of original radiators from the basement of the fire station. So we're able to point out our hose tower, things like that are kind of fun little facts, where the fire pole would have been. So kind of, since students can't come in, hoping they can at least get a sense of it, and at least trying to get us out there. But from this, now we want to virtual tour everything. So
we've created a monster.
We've created a monster. But we're hoping in future that all of our
happy monster.
Happy monster, yeah. So we're hoping all of our exhibits we do in-house, that we can then use the same platform. So people who aren't in Butte or can't come to our facility, we get requests all the time.
Well, yeah, think about those ethnic groups and the amazing displays you had. Because, I remember walking through and looking at all of them. I saw the Italians when it was up, and I was like, wow, this is just, the fact that they've kept all this and they have all this and they're sharing it here at the archives. That's why I always use a push that the new buildings that are going up at the World Museum of Mining should have a museum that could host all of these, so they're not put in a box and put away, that they're brought out to show the ethnic history of our community. And so to be able to archive that video in a tour, is so important.
Yeah, so we have these exhibits, exactly. We have them archived. People, they have more longevity then. It's not the 3 months they're up. People can look at them all the time. And so we're hoping in the future that we can now implement that for upcoming exhibits when we're able to do them in person. And
I would imagine some of those items are on loan, so when the display comes down, they go back to the home where they came from. So this would also always keep that item that was of importance to that group or whatever is being, it would keep it in the catalog.
Yeah, and in the context of what it is and what it represents.
Yeah.
And
right. And we also photograph all of the items that come in too. And so that we attach those so that someday, when people ask, do you have, a virtual display? Do you have, people are always asking, well, how can I see that? I missed the display. How can I see the display on the Jews? And usually it's just me sending them the text, So it'll be nice someday to be able to point them to our catalog and they can just click a button and enjoy it.
Technology is a wonderful thing, but it's also scary. Because, of course, whatever you put out there is going to be critiqued. And whatever you're doing, people are going to say, well, why did you do that? I mean, so from that perspective, but the good part is you're always open to new ideas. And as you're looking and working with teachers, I would imagine their input's going to be critical on the growth of this program. That's
exactly right. So I was really hoping we could get feedback because we just don't know, and we're not teachers and we're not students. So in developing this, we were really lucky. We had Larry Driscoll work with us. He's a retired principal, which was great because we had these ideas and he'd say, no, or no, you guys are going way too crazy with that. That's too much. You got to make this simple. So
there's a focus issue here.
Simple,
we were thinking of it from a totally different, mindset.
So Kim's used to that with me. So you should have just had her come in. Keep it simple, stupid. It's Davis.
No. So yeah, it's been really great because he helped kind of guide and helped us with the topics. And this is actually what a 5th grade level, what kind of assignment you would want to do with them. So it was really his guidance, and he did a lot of the early work on figuring out the topics and getting us these worksheets prepared that all we then had to do after Larry's work was kind of just pull it together and get it digital so we could put it on our website. So
that's just amazing. What would it be like to be a 5th or 6th grader in Butte in this day and age with the YMCA school kid programs and the archive programs, the skiing programs, all the things that are available to the kids in that age group? It's in this town. It's just amazing.
They really do a lot. Well, Aubrey's kids are right in.
I have a 5th grader. I haven't made her do a packet yet. I'm not ready for that eye roll. I'm just not ready for it.
Mama loves this, and you're going to too.
You're really going to like this. But yeah, we have some colleagues in Butte-Silver Bow that do want to run it by their kids, so we've shared it. And what's also nice is it's not just for 5th graders. I think younger levels, maybe 3rd grade, could do it as well. And I think up to high school could enjoy it also. So that's what's really nice. It's not just stuck on 5th graders. We've even had some adults look at it, and they had a lot of fun. There's a word search, and who doesn't love a word search? So,
what amazes me, Aubrey, is the kind of parent you are that you would not have, because at my house, it would have been mandatory the very first day. So you're letting your child kind of not be punished by mom's profession.
Yeah. You know how that is.
I never do that.
Yeah. I was looking right at you when I said that.
I'm hoping she'll have to do it at school. So yeah, we'll see. Maybe I'll run it by her.
So this is a starting project.
Exactly.
But how do you see this growing now? I mean, where do you see, here you start out with this virtual tour with these things. Do you actually go into where, through their online system, where they could go in and research someone, be assigned someone to go look them up and write papers? I mean, does it move up into the grades, into middle school? I mean, how do you see this growing?
Yeah, I think we'd like to grow it like that, where more grades can do it. There could be a higher level and also younger level of learning. We'd love to get little kids in there too, and learn whatever they can about Butte history. Also, we'd like to expand the topic list, get more topics, keep it growing, maybe incorporate it in with the kids coming when we can, again, have in person, have them come to the archives, and then they have some takeaways at home that they can do further. I also think with the topics we have, I believe we did 35 of them. I I think within those topics, we could add higher levels of material. So right now, essentially, the project is they read a newspaper article that's relevant to their topic, and then there's an answer sheet, and the answers, you can easily gain the answer from reading the newspaper. And then there's a word search just with keywords about the topic. So I think in going in that, we could include other resources. We thought it'd be really fun to incorporate maps at some point, for different buildings. We have a few building ones, like the Miners Union Halls one, for example, which was just north of where the archives is today, having a map project so they could map where a building is. So I think we have lots of ideas where we want to take our resources and expand on them. And
I just had a thought.
Okay,
You're
let's
talking
hear
about
it.
the map idea.
Yeah.
What about like springtime when teachers are looking for field trips for their kids? That they get a map and the teacher leads, or someone from the archives, Aubrey, leads a tour through these, and the kids have to mark the spot on the map where it is.
I love that idea.
Fisk kind of does something like that.
He does, and he does the ghost tours.
He makes them.
Yeah.
I meant in class, though.
Oh, he does.
Yeah, because last year, my daughter, he partners them up, and my daughter and her partner had to come up, and she texted me. She's like, "Mom, I'm outside, and I need to take a selfie of the archives. Would you come out and take a selfie with me?" And that was part of it. The kids were all assigned different ones, and I think she picked the archive. So it's great that we do have some teachers who are incorporating the social studies teachers incorporating this.
What made me think of this? It's kind of strange, but the Advantage Butte, which I am a part of, hosted a state track meet, and I was uptown during the state track meet on a Friday afternoon or evening. Early evening, and here's these track teams from out of town, from around the state, with their coaches and people walking around, getting a walking history of Butte. And I stopped one of them. I said, "What are you doing?" They said, "We like to take the community we go to, because many of these kids have heard about Butte. They were standing in front of the courthouse at the time." And we're saying, we're walking around. We did some research online, and we're making this a walking tour to introduce these kids to Butte and the history of Butte. And I thought, wow, why aren't we doing that with our own kids? And so this would tie right into.
It would tie right in, and I think you're right. You always look at other towns' histories, but sometimes when you grow up in it, you're in it. You don't see it. So I think it'd be really great. I do sometimes with my kids point out different sites and things, but I think it means a lot. So in these packets, if you did a map project, you could. I think it means a lot to say, oh, here's a historical picture, here is a fact about it, and here's the spot today. Linking it to today and a physical place you can go to, I think. Or
taking a picture from the archives of an old building and then showing the building today. And say, now, this was this building at this time. This is because most people, let's take the Montana Power Building, for example, with the facade that's on it, most people didn't know that was multiple buildings that were all gingerbread cut together. I mean, that's a cookie cutter operation.
It's like 5 buildings. Yeah,
and the idea that because of the facade, everybody thought it was one big building. But to show this is what it looked like before, this is what it looked like when they finished, here it is today. I mean, just some ideas like that. But that'd just be... It made me think of that when you brought up the map idea. Plus, for the kids to create, maybe for the teachers, why always take your field trips to another community or somewhere else when you could do them right here in your hometown?
That's right.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. So it's so exciting to think of the places this can go and how it can grow, and we also love ideas. So yes, sometimes other people, it's so nice to hear different ideas. So we would love if people had ideas of ways they could implement things like that, or just like what you said, a before and after or a mapping thing. That's a great idea. We'd love for people to give us suggestions.
Let's do this. We'll open up the phone line right now because we're going to go to a break. And if you have an idea of how the archives could bring the history of Butte to the classrooms, call us up and give us some ideas. Can't guarantee they're going to be used, but it's a great opportunity to at least share your thoughts. And we'll do that when we come back. If you call. If you don't, well, we'll just go on chatting.
We'll just keep on chatting.
The KBOW party line, we're good at that. 1:34 on your Wednesday. If you have an idea of how to bring the classroom to, or the archives or the history of Butte to the classroom, call us and join us and tell us on the party line. We're back, the KBOW party line. 1:36 on your Wednesday, January 20th. Again, talking with the archives today. Aubrey and Kim are here. It's Brown Bag Lunch Day on your third Wednesday of January. And we are reaching out to you, at least Aubrey is. She says, if you have any ideas of how they can bring Butte history to the classroom through the archives, call us your ideas. We just threw out the idea of using the map thing to do, tours and take the kids out on field trips or a scavenger hunt, as Kim mentioned. So if you have a thought, call us at 494-7500 on the party line. And let's get back to it. And Aubrey and Kim, I thank you both for coming in. It's always fun. I have really enjoyed doing these brown bag lunches because I am finding I'm learning so much more and more about what's available in our community. And also, learning about some of the, time travel that we all went through. That was a great one.
Wasn't it? And we didn't record that one.
Yeah, that was a mistake. I think it was after that we decided we should have recorded it. So.
Yeah, I think that was one of our first ones, and we were still trying to figure out, we meaning the royal we. I was still trying to figure out what was going on.
Yeah, you were dragging me kicking and screaming, so...
Are you kidding? This was your idea.
Oh, I forgot.
Doesn't that always happen?
I know. So, we'll be here at least through, let's see, December, January, what is it? It's January, February, March. I'm tempted to kind of book April just in case, and I'm wondering if we should do some at our place, have some at your place. I don't know.
Right now, talking to a lot of different groups, a lot of people are planning on, for the first 6 months, keeping... Even if people are getting the shot, keeping things, the vaccination down. And with that, I do have to say this, if you don't mind, ladies. The Butte Health Department had an issue with their phone system. People didn't get calls returned that were 80 plus. And they're saying anybody over 80 years of age, if you called to get an appointment and did not get a call back, head to the Civic Center right now, and they will get you a shot.
Excellent.
But they had some issues with their answering machine. They were unable to get some of those. They were unable to get back to some of the 80-year-olds. We were told by somebody earlier that they had limited vaccines, but then Karen Malogny was on Facebook Live with John Amy from KXLF.
Awesome.
And they said if you are 80 and older and you called to get an appointment and didn't get a call back, just come down to the Civic Center. And you have till 3 o'clock to do that. That's why I wanted to put that in now. So off topic, but
excellent.
That's good information.
No, it's good.
And actually, that's a great segue. We certainly understand phone problems because this week you won't be able to call the archives tomorrow or Friday because they are repairing our phone lines. But I think you can get to us online on email and Facebook. So find us on Facebook.
That was a great segue. I didn't even know we were going there.
I know. I was thinking, man, we can understand not being able to use the phone.
A blind squirrel gets an acorn every once in a while.
That's right.
So you guys will be down phone-wise.
Just our phone lines, I think. I think we'll be able to have, and Aubrey can probably elaborate.
We'll still be able to email and everything, but our phone line will be down. So
Yeah. So Aubrey, how does the public, how do teachers and students find this online?
Yeah, so our website is buttearchives.org, and at the homepage of our website, the fastest way is there is a slideshow of images, and one of them says Butte History in the Classroom, and you click on that. And
just
then,
on the picture.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's like a read more button. So you hit the button and then it takes you, there's the list of 35 topics. You can click on whatever topic you like, and then there's a little download packet, and you download the packet, and it's just a PDF. So it's pretty simple, I think, for the most part.
So what are some of the topics? We didn't even talk about what the topics
we were going
were.
there. That's a great
We're going there?
Yeah.
So one of the topics, we did the Women's Protective Union. We did Frank Little. Sorry, I'm pulling it up also because there's 35 of them. Let's see, we did Jeanette Rankin.
Tell us your favorite one. Do you have a favorite one that you worked on?
Some of my favorites. Let's see. I love the Jewish community one. The J.C. Penney's fire one I think is really interesting because just where that building was on Park Street, I think so many, if we're looking at the fifth graders, know that parking lot now, but I think
what was there?
Or
so
even
I think
people like me who've only lived here for 22 years, but
I remember the building.
We didn't live here during all those fires, and it wasn't until I worked at the archives till I was like,
you were very young.
Where was the Penny's building? So it's great to know those things.
It is great. So we try to do the kind of the big topics also, the Columbia Gardens is on there. We have the Berkeley Pit, but we also have minor strikes on there, which I don't know if, a lot of kids, we were talking, I don't know if a lot of kids know what labor unions are, really. So I think it's...
And Butte, that you knew growing up in the early days, but now
I don't know.
The unions just, our mine's not unionized. There are some unions, but that union, when I was a kid, there was a strike at Woolworth. You never crossed that line because it got back to my dad, who was a miner, who got his backside chewed by the union for his kids crossing that line.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
So even as a 7-8-year-old kid, you had to know if there's a picket, you did not cross it.
I don't even think I've seen a picket line.
There's been a few,
except
but
on
not many.
TV when I was very small in the 70s. In the 70s, teachers were striking a lot nationally.
Yeah.
But
I remember miners' strikes, and we have a garage by my mom's house still there with the dirt floor, and that was the slaughterhouse. In the middle of the summer, the miners were out shooting deer and elk and bringing them in, cutting them up, packaging them. They went in one door, came out the other door, and they went to the miners' homes to feed their families.
Food.
And I remember that because I asked a guy, boy, where'd you get that? They told us they were jackrabbits. It was a huge jackrabbits. My twin brother and I always wanted to go hunting jackrabbits in Browns Gulch because they were big.
They were huge.
They were huge.
I do remember that, though.
That's a great
100 pounds
story.
of meat, at least, right?
More.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
But you had to feed the families.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You had to do what you had to do.
Well, this is a great way, I think, to introduce to enhance our local knowledge for kids. Because I know, like in 4th grade, they have their Pioneer Day. They get to dress up. And I don't know, is that all through the schools or is that just Hillcrest mainly? I don't even know.
My kids have been out of school for so long.
4th grade, they dress up. 5th grade, I forget what they do. They do something else. Well, they'll do this. 6th grade, they have their wax museum. So the social studies teachers are really good about teaching, a broad history and making it exciting and fun and participatory for the kids. So I think this is really going to enhance that.
But what they're always looking for is resources. And through the archives, you're providing that. You're providing the resource to bring history alive in the classroom. And that's the easiest way to learn history.
And teaching them how to use primary resources. I mean, even at the master's level, I am appalled at how many people think that a newspaper or magazine article is a primary resource instead of coming to a place like what we have and looking at the original maps, the original photographs, the original founding documents of a union or a company or something, business. So,
but that brings you to a great
Mm-hmm.
point because people have not had that opportunity because they didn't know those things existed.
Exactly.
Or if they did exist, were they locked in some deep dark hole in the courthouse that nobody would say, gee, I don't know, it's on a microfiche somewhere.
Somewhere.
Yeah. We have that too.
That's one thing we pride ourselves. Yeah, but we'll help you. We'll actually help you.
You know how to fish, right?
Yeah, we do. As archives, so we're good fishers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I was doing this morning.
Well, and going back to what you just said, what we really want is to kind of be that first. We'd love to get that introduction to an archive so a kid doesn't feel intimidated because I think traditionally people are intimidated to go into an archives. They're kind of a weird thing, really. People don't always know exactly what they are. So we're really hoping we can get young kids in there so they're comfortable coming in and having it be a public space that they feel good coming into. Or, after school, if they want to learn a little bit about Butte history, they can just pop in when we're not closed. But
I think by calling it the research center helps because really what you're doing is going there to research. But one thing that I think would help a lot of people, including my age and older, is if you don't even know how to frame your question of your search, you guys are exceptional in helping them frame that. I mean, when somebody comes in and says, hey, I want to do research on such and such block of such and such street to find out what house my grandmother was born in, but I don't know how to do this, and you guys know exactly how to frame the question into your system to get the answer they're looking for. And that takes some of that stress out. And the kids would learn that. And so will the adults by this show.
Yeah, no, we really try to be a place people like to go to, feel comfortable coming to. we want people to be comfortable coming in. We don't want them to be intimidated about, I have to ask the right question. Just come in and tell us a topic. We'll start pulling things for you. Take a look, and
we'll hold your hand through it, and we'll do it. We love it, and it's, honestly, it's so much easier to help somebody in person. Come in, I get a lot of requests for people researching like the house they just bought or the house where grandma lived or something like that. And it's so much easier and exciting and fun to help that person in person than doing all the research and sending them the email.
I would imagine the aha moment that they have is your payback for doing that research.
It's magical.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I mean, how many hugs have we shared with our patrons?
Well, hopefully none in the last 7 or 8 months.
Well, not in the last
Some
year,
elbow bumps, though. We have done some elbow bumps.
Yeah, elbow bumps. And even tears. I mean, I've cried with patrons. I've made them cry. Not in a bad way.
You make me cry on the show.
But yeah, that's part of what makes our archives very unique, is how accessible we are and friendly and open, and yes, come on in. You don't have to whisper like you do at the library. Yeah.
That's the best part. All right, we're going to take another time out. When we come back, we'll round back around and see what we missed, and we'll cover back what we need to do, okay?
Great.
The KBOW Party Line, sneaking up on 148 here on your Wednesday. Stay with us. We're chatting with the archives today, and we'll continue that chat after this. Hey, we're back. The KBOW Party Line. I'm apologizing to the ladies for the Davis invasion of our studios, or at least our front office. We're talking today about the archives on our brown bag lunch, and it is, just a great conversation to have as we visit about the archives and get more details about all the great things going on. As we were there talking, we did mention the website, but I think we need to hit that again, because especially like tomorrow, the next day, you guys are going to be kind of a little bit on the shutdown side with your phone lines because of some work being done. So,
and you can contact us through the website too.
Oh, you guys do have a contact on there. I've seen that.
Contact.
I think I've communicated with you, Aubrey. Hey, that part's done. Come pick it up.
Yeah. Yes, you have.
So, anyway, tell us a little bit more about the website.
Yeah. So our website is buttearchives.org, and on that website, for the coming days, you can always contact us on there. We will also have the history in the classroom pages on there. So on the ticker slideshow on the front, you can access it there. Also on there, you can read a little bit about our collections, about the history of the building, learn a little bit about our Friends Board, who funds a lot of these things we do. You can also search our collections on there. So there's a search our collections button, and on there you could type in, for example, Columbia Gardens, and it will show you what photographs we have at the archives, what type of vertical files we have, what type of collections we have. And you can do that for any subject, anything. So if you find something on there, we'll just use a photo as an example. You can hit request the button, and it sends us an email, and Kim responds and says, we can get you this photo. So
we can get you, and we'll charge you for it.
A very reasonable price.
By the way, I only say that because there's a lot of people who are surprised. They're like, well, I don't want to pay for that, But, and then on the opposite, they almost want to pay double,
Depends on how the research goes.
So,
right? There you go.
Yeah, but you can request research or you can request photos through our website. And you can see the big giant buttons on there.
I was just sitting here thinking about something, Aubrey, when you were talking about the Columbia Gardens and that link. I mean, my generation is one of the last. There might have been a couple, a few, maybe 5 to 10 years behind me that might remember the Columbia Gardens. But for us to sit down with our grandchildren or even our own children and say, so this was what it was like. That because you hear that around Butte. Well, gee, we got the Columbia Gardens. They brought the Columbia Gardens back together over here at the carousel, whatever. It to be able to take that tour online would be fun.
Yeah. So it's really you can look at the photos we have, so you can see it from all sorts of decades, from the early 1900s into the 60s. That we have photographs. So it's even a resource if you can't make it to the archives. You can kind of, to a limited extent, but you can browse our holdings and see what we have. And if you're also curious, I wonder if the archives has something about this topic, well, you can search on there and it'll say if we have it or not. And if it isn't popping up, always give us a call. Because like you said, we're pretty good at searching our own materials. So
and sometimes people don't quite know what keyword to use, or
that goes back to how to frame it. Yeah.
Exactly. And so, shoot us an email and we'll get back with you. And a lot of times what I'll do is I'll do the search and then send them the link. And so they have all their findings on the Columbia Gardens or whatever, and just say, here you go. You can search right through here, our website. Let me know what else you need.
The interesting part about that is the idea that there is such a vast resource at the archives that you guys may not even know for sure what all's there.
No.
I mean, even with spending every day there. Mm-hmm. So sometimes you guys have that aha moment too. Oh, wow, we do have that.
I had one yesterday.
Did you?
I did. I was like, oh my gosh, this would be so helpful to know. So, it was in fire department records. And it was just like a little thing. I thought, oh, that's kind of interesting to know. Tuck that back in my head when I'm looking for things. So, I have a lot of aha moments.
Yeah, we learn something every day. Yeah. It's really fun.
Well, and Aubrey is in charge of the government record, which someday we're going to get in and we're going to tell people what it is.
That would be kind of fun, because when I see government records, I think, okay, they're going to know every ticket I got when I was a teenager.
Well, yes, Ron, yes. I've seen them.
We could find everything.
Didn't some of that go away when I turned 18?
You just think so, but no. It lives at the archives.
It does.
I hate you.
But no, the government record is, it sounds horribly boring, but there are some really great resources in there that has some really interesting things about our community, what's going on. People like today complaining about certain things, and through that you kind of learn what Butte was like. Because if people are really complaining about a certain topic, well, it just gives you a little insight into the community that you might not otherwise get. Yeah.
I learned a lot. I've been redoing the vertical files. And some of our clippings files, there were 200 clippings. And we can't hand that to a person and expect them to make any sense of it. So I put them all in order and I read them. And the two topics that just really exploded my brain was the history of the water company and the history of Montana Power. And mainly a lot of these clippings were from the 80s. And boy, did that just blow my world apart about Butte then and now. It was fascinating to read. So now they're into easier discernible topics, and interesting.
So one of the ones I would like, and I need to get on and do this, and I haven't, is the amount of underground mining that was done in Butte. Because I tell people there's thousands of miles worth of underground shafts. Yeah. Oh, there is no way. I mean, I get that. And I think, God, what did I? Yeah, 10,000 is the number I give. And people always, and I didn't say that because I thought you guys would correct me. But I always was taught 10,000 miles of underground tunnels. And people say, oh, there's no way. There is no way.
Oh, yes.
And I just sit there and think, I wish I had the right away could pull that up and say, here you go, read it.
So the Bureau of Mines and Geology up at Tech has a really great map that has all these different colors indicating the different levels. And that's a really great map. And but the absolute breadth of tunnels underneath our community is just
we were definitely an anthill. I mean, they're human ants, but we were an anthill.
Really, it's startling.
Well, I want to thank you both for giving us this walk through history at the archives, because I just think the idea of taking it to the kids in the schools, but also for the adults, for anybody that might be thinking of, gee, how do I use the archives? How do I function at the archives? Mm-hmm. Hopefully they'll find this as a great resource.
Just when we're allowed to open up again, just come on up, wander in, and just say, I just want to know what's here. We get that question a lot.
And until then, be sure to visit online at the website.
Visit online.
What's that website again?
ButteArchives.org.
I knew she'd say that. Thank you, ladies, and thank you for coming in and joining me today.
Thank you, Ron.
And I look forward to our next Brown Bag Lunch, the third Wednesday of February.
Second Wednesday. Second Wednesday.
Okay.
The second Wednesday of January was taken.
Oh, okay.
So that's why we're on the 3rd. So it'll be the second Wednesday of February. And I'm still working on it, but I think it's supposed to be the DAR. Daughters of the American Revolution.
That'll be fun. Bring my daughter in.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us. You have a great day, and thanks for being on the party line.